Hello, this is Marcin Miodek from Corona Renderer, and this time I would like to show you how to create a simple carpet using Corona Scatter. So this is my example scene. It's just an empty room with a wooden floor and this carpet object in the middle. So now I will show you the final result. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Maybe it's not very realistic, but I think it serves well as a base to experiment with. And you will be probably able to create much better results. So let's just try to recreate this from scratch now. I will get back to 3ds Max, and now I will hide the old layer. Okay, and now the first thing we need to do to create the carpet is create a base mesh for our scattered strands. So I will create a circle, but you can use any other shape you wish, it will work just fine. So let's create a circle, and let's move it slightly above the ground so that it doesn't intersect. Okay, and now we need to make it solid. You can do this either by using, for example, edit poly modifier, or by using garment maker modifier, and I will use this one as it will give us some additional polygons which you can use to create some detail on the base mesh. Okay, so this will be our carpet base. And now the second thing we need to do is create the objects that will be scattered on this base mesh. So let's go to geometry, extended primitives, and I will create a capsule. Okay, so now I will just create it anywhere in the scene. And we have to create this object in a proper scale. So I will use something like 0.5 centimeter in radius and about 10 centimeters height. Okay, so this is our single strand, and now I will turn it into a editable poly, and I will delete the base of it because we want these objects to be optimized as much as possible because we will be scattering high amounts of them. Now let's bend this a little bit. Alright. And our basic objects are ready. So now we can create a Corona scatter object. So let's go to create geometry, Corona, C scatter. And we can create this anywhere in the scene, and you can have it any size you want. It really doesn't matter. And now let's go to modify tab, and let's pick the carpet base as distribute on objects, and let's use our strand as instant object. Okay, and now as you can see, there is one object scattered on this base mesh. It is now in wirebox mode, but you can also switch to full geometry to see that it's really there. Okay, so now let's adjust the settings of Corona Scatter. So we will start with about 5000 scattered objects. Okay, you can see that it looks fine, but it needs some more variation. So let's just tweak these settings that you have inside Corona Scatter. So values like -10 to 10 should work fine. And to get a random rotation in z-axis, you have to type 360 here. Okay, you can see that it looks much better already, but we will need even more variation for these objects, and we have to adjust the scale because they are far too big. So let's change the scale to something like 50% to 75%. Okay, and to introduce some more variation to these objects, we'll create additional strands. So I will just copy these objects. Alright, and one of them I will bend a little more, just so that it doesn't touch the ground. Okay, and the third one I will bend a little less. Okay, so we have this variation of strand objects, and now let's get back to Corona Scatter and add the newly created objects. Okay, so now we can see that it looks much better. And there are two more things that we want to make. So the first thing is we need more of these objects, but there is a chance that the viewport will get a little laggy when you are creating so many objects. So let's change the amount of displayed objects to, let's say, 20%, and let's create more of these objects. So I will create 30,000 and hit enter. I will now apply a previously created material, but you can create your own. And to apply this material to the scattered objects, you should not select this C-scatter object, because even though it works in viewport, it won't work in the rendering. You have to apply this material to the scattered objects actually. So let's select all of them and apply this material. Okay. And now we can do a test render. And as you can see, it looks pretty fine. So I will just do another test render in the close-up, maybe even closer. Okay. The pre-computation may take a little longer than normally because we are rendering a high amount of objects. So yeah, that's basically it. Of course, you are welcome to experiment with C-scatter, change geometry of the scattered objects, change the geometry of the base mesh. You can create better materials to make it look more realistic. So this is all up to your imagination. So have fun and check out the rest of our tutorials.